Hello and welcome to this online induction for Mahara ePortfolio software. This is aimed at students on the Theatre Studies online programme. My name is David Matthews, I'm the college's VLE Development Manager, and today I'm going to show you around some of the features of your ePortfolio. We're beginning today with the front page of the VLE, as this is how you access your ePortfolio. Firstly, log into the VLE with the details that we have sent to you, and then scroll down and click on this link through to Mahara. As you can see, there's single sign-on between these two services, so you don't need to enter your login details twice. This said, you should always approach Mahara through the VLE and don't try and log in independently. This is the dashboard screen for Mahara, and this is the screen that we'll be working from as I give you this virtual tour. Up in the top left here, we have the Rose Bruford College logo, and this is a home button, which will always bring you back to the dashboard page. Below that, we have a series of tabs. I'll be talking to you about the dashboard, content, portfolio, and groups tabs today. Below is a user manual and a video tutorial, and please do refer to these links if you have any questions, and also my email address. Below these links is a diagram that describes the workflow for creating your portfolio. So, broadly speaking, you should begin by creating your profile, uploading files and content, organizing that file and content into pages, and then sharing those pages with anyone from individual users right the way up to the general public. Further down, you'll also find a list of pages that have been shared with you and the pages that you've created for yourself. So let's begin with the tabs. Moving to the right from the Dashboard tab, we have the Content tab. And as you will see, below that master list of red tabs, we now have a list of black tabs that we can work through. And throughout this introduction, I'll always be working from the top of the screen downwards and from left to right through the tabs. So here we are in my profile. All of this information is copied across from the VLE, so you don't need to enter this information twice. The third tab is your files area. This is completely private to you, so at the very least you can regard this as a sort of academic Dropbox, a piece of free online space that's completely secure, that you can use to store more or less anything you want during your studies. To upload a file, place a tick in this box and then click to browse, whichever device you're using. As you can see, uploading a file is no more complicated than attaching a file to an email. If you can do the former, you'll be able to do the latter. Here are my uploaded files. Mahara will accept any file type. In addition to uploading material to the site, you can also create information in the site. This is the Journal tool, which is a blogging tool. You can begin multiple journals, if you wish, and add new entries. You can also create an online resume or CV, where you can upload information on your education and employment, your achievements, goals, skills and interests, and you can make plans for yourself relating to your own learning. All of this is pertinent because you keep your Mahara account for life, and any material that you archive here can be kept long after you graduate. So should you wish to show any of this work to potential collaborators or employers, you can do so. So having uploaded our files and begun our journals, we now need to arrange this material onto pages, because at the moment it can only be seen by you. If I move across to the Portfolio tab, here is a list of all of my current pages. If I click on Create Page, here is an empty Mahara page. Inasmuch as the page exists, it's this white bar at the bottom of the screen. And we can now start to add content to it. Again, you'll recognise the tabbed architecture. We have an Edit Content tab, which is open at the moment. And within that, we're looking at external content. And these are the types of content we can add to this page. RSS feeds, external video and Google Apps. We could add files or files arranged into folders, images, HTML code, or other types of embedded media. We can license our page. We can add menus to aid navigation, and we can add text boxes, which are labels. Your journal, which by default is private to you, can also be added to this page. Likewise your profile and your CV. All of these tools function in the same way. So if, for example, we want to add an RSS feed, I just pick up that tool by left-clicking on it, moving it onto the screen, and releasing it. So using a drag and drop architecture. If I do the same thing with a file that I've uploaded, drag the files down into that area and release, and then I can choose which one of my files I want to display there by clicking on Select. As you can imagine, the page is completely malleable. So once we've added any of these blocks to the page, we can move them around. Coming back up to the top level of tabs, I can edit the title and the description of my page. I can edit the layout. So I can change the number of columns. If, for example, my page is very text heavy, I might choose to have fewer number of columns, and that will bring more of the text up onto the screen. If I'm working with lots of pictures or video resources, I might use more columns, again to make the best use of that on-screen real estate. I can display my page, and I can also choose to share it. These are the options of who you can share your page with. General public, any groups that you belong to, right the way down to individual named users. So if I click on Share with other users and groups, I can then use this block to search for an individual, who might be my tutor for example, and then click on Add next to their name. Again, your pages are completely private to you unless you choose to share them. Once you have shared them, those sharing arrangements will stay in place permanently unless you decide to change them. So if you share with a tutor once, it will stay that way unless you decide to disconnect them for whatever reason. You can also arrange your pages into collections. I'll show you one of my collections in a moment. Or you can choose to export your pages. As I mentioned, your Mahara account stays with you for life. But if, for example, you wanted to take some work that you're particularly proud of and make your own website, it can be exported in a variety of different formats. Finally, here's the Groups tab. This is where you can form yourself into groups or indeed find that you have been placed into groups, which will allow you to share material easily between you from your Mahara pages. You can look for groups that you might want to join, and you can also use the social networking dimensions that are built into Mahara. So you can make friends, for example, and send messages. This is where you'll also be able to look at your shared pages. So to give you an idea of what pages might look like, here's one of my collections. This is the front page of a portfolio that I was putting together as part of my staff training for the year. These are all the pages in my collection, arranged in a menu, and these are text boxes that I've used. I've also embedded my portfolio here top left, and I've changed the background theme of the page. Some of these pages are very text-based, necessarily. Whilst in others, here for example, I've embedded screenshots and embedded videos. Here also are examples of files that can be downloaded. I've no doubt that your own pages will be more visually stimulating than mine, and I do recommend that you use the groups and friends options to share pages with one another to get ideas of good practice that's out there. The best advice I can offer with a piece of software like Mahara is to get out there and use it. There's no amount of demonstration that I can do that will replace or replicate the hands-on experience of using it and hopefully enjoying it. So do please go exploring. Nothing is written in stone with Mahara. It's entirely malleable and it's entirely under your control. It's also quite difficult to delete anything permanently unless you really try, so don't be afraid about being playful in your approach to this site. Thanks for your time watching this video today, and if you have any questions, do please get in touch.